Welcome back, team.
Subaru Impreza.
The last time we talked, it was about drivetrain and how you can improve the mechanical efficiency between the engine through the transmission and the drive shaft and the rear differential to basically power the car's rear end, right? Without upgrading some of these bushings, sure, you're going to get the power to the rear, but how much of it's going to be sapped from squishy bushings, right? I've been driving this car for 8 years now, and over time I've upgraded it piece by piece, and I think that's one of the great things about owning a car is if you're not leasing it, you're owning it, and you're owning it for a long time, you can slowly and I guess they call it tastefully modify your car, right? Because it's going to be the one that you keep. At least, I hope I will. Knock on wood. There's no wood around here, but anyway. A little bit about the car. It's tuned for street. It's tuned for enjoyment of the driver, I guess. And whatever you see is whatever it is here. The suspension was part of the enjoyment early on, and it continues to be very enjoyable as I drive the car, right? Again, this car is not a horsepower car, right? It's a street car. I do my daily activities in it, get my groceries, pick up stuff, run errands, So from that aspect, it's been a really good car. The car has been very reliable, except for that one time that the battery, the OEM battery, when it dies, it's like the worst time, right? Because you need the car. So always upgrade your battery. And then secondly, the other thing that was somewhat unreliable on this car was I found recently that my MAF sensor cable, which is the wiring harness that connects the MAF sensor, when you bend it in a certain way, the MAF signal, it's an electronic signal that reads the airflow and the temperature and a lot of different things. The signals go all wonky when it's bent, right? So when my engine vibrates really hard and it shakes the intake, and then it shakes that MAF sensor and that cable and the harness, sometimes, not all the time, the car can get really unreliable. It starts sputtering and misfiring and running rich. And so when I had the hood open one time and it was just idling, right? And I was just like, I'm going to tap the cable sensor just to see what happens. And all of a sudden I see these really, really high readings. I tapped it to the point where the engine just, I think, shut off because it didn't get a good signal for a couple of seconds. And so I was like, oh, this is probably the reason why I've been having these weird, after hardcore sessions, then my car will start choking up. And I'm like, what's going on? It's probably because the engine was vibrating this wiring harness so much to the point that once it stopped vibrating, one of the signals was broken. And once that signal was broken, then it started misfiring and sending rich codes to my engine. And so I think for a long time I've had that issue, and I've always known it's been because of the MAF and because of the vibration of the engine, but I think I recently found the missing part. So I was looking for a new harness, but I think it's fine as long as I know that's the main reason why the car gets unreliable. I literally just need to unplug the MAF sensor and plug it back in again and wiggle it around until I can read that perfect MAF reading. So just be aware, guys, that little harness, that wiring harness, might be your problem, not the actual MAF sensor itself. Good luck. So if you need to read some of these things, you can always download the application and then get yourself an OBD2 dongle, which reads the instrumentation of the car, right? And these apps are usually free versions, and then there's paid versions, and the paid versions aren't very expensive either. So it's a good diagnostic tool to have. And I feel like that's another place that you can actually do logging. So if you do modifications to your car and you want to show the increased ability of your car, if it gained anywhere, then you can also read it from there, doing logging, right? So street polls. I used to do a lot of street polls, but over the time I've just realized that things get better as you add things onto it, right? Not much of this car has engine work, but a lot of it is efficiency, suspension, and reliability, right? So over the years I've learned that you can't really increase the horsepower of a naturally aspirated car unless you do some engine work and whatnot. But outside of that, you can increase the efficiency of the drivetrain by modifying its driveline components, the bushings that are in it, and then also, actually probably first, is to make the car lighter than it was stock. The lighter the car is, better horsepower to weight ratio you have. And that goes for any car, like a super sports car or even this little economy car, right? So if you can get your car lighter, good. If you can modify the drivetrain so that it's more direct, good, right? You're going to get more of that wheel or that engine horsepower down into the wheels. Those are the two things that I've found that have made the car better in a lot of ways. Like obviously tires and brakes and things like and suspension have made a big difference in this car, right? It handles way better with better suspension and tires. It's a lot safer with better brakes, right? But in terms of the go-go, like the pushing aspect, half of the car is bushed up a lot more than the front of the car. The rear of the car is a lot more bushed up than the front of the car. If you tighten up the drivetrain to the rear, you effectively put more of that engine horsepower to the wheels. And I created a simulator for this. It's kind of rough. It was just a pet little project that I made with my computer and web interface stuff. But it's based on power to weight ratio. There's like a little arcade mode if you want to play it, but I'm openly sharing it with you guys because I notice a lot of people are asking in the comments, hey, what is that little video game cartoon thing that you have there? It's my simulator for my car. Like literally I spent some time just to calculate efficiency, or in air quotes efficiency, and horsepower and weight and things like that. So it's a little game that I made for myself to see, what's the best upgrade for the dollar, right? Like what's going next. And I found in this simulation and through using logging on my phone app, the Torque Pro app, and then buying myself an inexpensive OBD2 reader for the ECU. Those two things combined, you can log metrics like horsepower, MAF readings like I was talking about before, engine oil temperatures, intake temperatures, RPMs, and things like that, right? So anyway, coupled with the logging that I did and then some of the simulations that I did, I found that weight and drivetrain efficiency are pretty much the most important things to make this car a lot more sporty than it is. Obviously, you can do your exhaust, you can do your engine, you can tune your engine. Tuning your engine, I think, is the third one, which is it really increases the performance of the engine with a better tune, right? If you can do a lot of this stuff piecemeal, great, because it's going to spread the enjoyment over the years that you own a car. I know a lot of people, they're going to get like a bunch of money and they're just going to spend a lot of money on one time and like upgrade the suspension and be like, my car's awesome. And it's like, it's all right? But over time, if you invest in your car and you just make it the way that you want it, man, that's what it comes down to. Make it the way you want it. Yeah, for performance stuff, get it light, get a tune, and then upgrade the drivetrain. This car's been really great for me. A lot of learning has been done on this economical platform. I enjoy it. I hope you guys are modifying and slowly learning or quickly learning, because I feel like it's not just this car. It could be any car, right? The car that you have, just like learn on it, right? Like, especially if you're going to own it. Learn how to maintain it. Learn how to change the oil, change the filters, change your tires and wheels and things like that, and slowly you just end up liking it more and more. Granted, I'm not a professional. I'm just a novice that enjoys his car a lot, but here's another couple of years. Hope you're all doing good.